Okay, I'd like to call the capital planning board together. Roll call, please.
Natalie Call present.
Carol,
Veronica,
go ahead.
I'm sorry, Veronica Cal present.
Hey, Carol Hoff is present.
Beauchamp present.
Jerome Bezick is present. And we are going to be uploading to TCAM, and then is there anybody else recording? Not that we know. Okay. Additions or deletions?
I don't have any.
Okay. Okay, review the minute meetings from February the 21st. I did review them. They look pretty good to me.
I agree.
Okay.
Thank you.
We have a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of February 21st, 2025.
Second motion.
Any discussion? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Natalie Call, yes. Veronica Cal, yes.
And Carol Hoff is here.
Jerome Bezikas, yes. Okay, well, we would skip through that pretty good.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so Rob is here. So why don't we get started with Rob?
Does everybody have Rob's?
Is that the sheet here?
It's
I'll get this one. We all have a
Nelson sent it out.
Yeah.
It looks the same, right?
Yeah, I think it's,
Yeah.
I just marked mine all up.
And I also want to say that Melissa is going to attend at some point.
Okay.
Yes, she's on. Yeah.
Okay,
All right. Could I have screen sharing capability? Is anybody there?
yes.
Maybe I do have it. Just 1 minute to get this. Sorry, I was typing in as fast as I could because water came in as well. Did you guys look at that?
Okay. We will.
So I was trying to put it all on one sheet.
Is water coming today?
I don't believe so.
Okay,
Not that I know of.
All right.
I mean.
well, you look like you were busy this morning over to the senior center.
Yeah, that place keeps me real busy. Yeah.
Is the account number on Rob's? What is that account number?
On the right.
Department number.
Oh, what's your department number? The code. I guess it's the code.
It should be on the ledger somewhere.
Yep, it is somewhere in there.
Is that big enough that you guys can see it?
Oh, okay, sure.
Okay, and I'm just going to show FY 2026. I believe I sent to you, I might not have, I might have only sent it to Melissa. But anyway, so I put everything so that we could look at it all
Okay,
from the top to the bottom. So we're looking at facilities right now.
okay.
So let me pop it up to that.
Okay.
So this is what you turned in, Rob, correct?
Mhm.
So there's a Memorial Hall fire suppression system.
Correct.
The Memorial Hall replaced trim and painting.
Yep.
Now, I have a question about that. I thought that was on the capital plan a couple years ago and that it was funded.
It was on the capital. I worked with Mr. Slagle on it. We sent it out to the bid and we didn't have enough money.
Okay, so there are a couple of articles that are facilities articles. So you're saying it's 40,000 for the, no, I'm looking at the replace trim and painting, 25K. It was at 20K. What was the bid that you got?
The bids come back at $90,000.
I sort of remember that.
Okay,
They were
so
way beyond.
There are two articles. One is for town hall roof and rec stairs.
Those are done, the stairs are done,
There's 26,749 left in that article.
yes.
And there's another article called the Memorial Hall Harbor Fire.
That was repaired, that was a wall that got replaced down at the Harbor
Harbor
Fire.
Fire, I remember that.
Yep.
And that has $23,208 left in it.
Huh.
So you have trim and paint for 25 and so tell me about that. How are you gonna do it for 25 when it couldn't be done for 20?
It's not, I don't have enough money in there, the way all the, it's coming, all the prices are coming back. Because of the building, the wide
Then-
trim, because of the historic aspect of it.
Why is the estimate 25 then?
That somehow got changed by somebody. And
It's a
there
table.
was money set aside for that, and from what I was told, there was $70,000.
Okay, there's 77 in something. It's called Building Energy Retrofit from May of 2024. Does anybody know anything about that? It was an article on annual town meeting. Let me pull up the annual town meeting.
Energy retrofit.
Was that windows
Or was that the boilers? Let me,
That was probably from Rise Engineering they wanted to do something with that
but
at one time.
but their monies come through Green Communities,
That's right.
not through articles on the,
Correct. I was just working with him. He was here the other day.
right, so I'm not getting to my, oh, because I'm screen sharing, that's why. Okay, we need to look at what was already done, and put aside for what. So I guess, so for this year, the fire suppression system and the trim and painting were your number 1 and 2.
Correct.
Then moving down, Memorial Hall exterior storm windows for $30K and the heating system new boilers for
I
$75.
think that's supposed to be 85.
Is
Only
it?
because on this worksheet here, it's 10,000 for planning and design and 75,000 for construction. And this is for the boilers.
Right, that's gonna be Green Communities. And
Oh, it is. Okay, so we'll look at funding sources. That's another page on this.
Okay, I just wanted to let you know
Yep.
that on that sheet, it should be
It should
85
be
and
85
instead of 75.
Take the notes on it, all right?
Yeah, I know that that's
Okay.
supposed
Thank you.
to be
So
85.
Rise Engineering is looking at the new boilers and looking at it, getting quotes and all that good stuff.
they're trying to
Providing.
engineer a plan to see if they can do anything for the system because of its age and the way it's set up.
Okay, so new boilers, 85K, Green Communities is the anticipated funding source. Then replace Memorial Hall roof and repoint the chimney and foundation, 100,000.
And for both of them? The chimney and the roof, or chimney on the roof and the foundation, was that
And
both?
the flat roofs
Do you
on
have
either
the
side.
other, the sheet to make sure that's correct?
I think I had gone through and checked them against the sheets.
Okay,
And I have a little check mark saying that was the same as the sheet. I think the only thing I saw was different was the boiler,
okay,
because I have all the little,
that's the separate.
these,
I don't
yeah.
have them written out. I don't have them in
So
one.
I had gone through this list and checked the numbers to make sure they all matched up.
Yep.
Okay,
So
so,
question, those jobs that were so-called completed that you had with the rec stairs and the Harbor Fire Station? And was there money left over in those, correct?
that is correct.
Okay, could those be moved into the,
It requires we'll vote on it, but it
Right.
requires a town hall, a warrant at the town meeting
Right.
to repurpose
All right.
things.
I have a question about, now you said you repaired a wall down there. Was that before the new renovation? It was
It's
before.
the other, it's
It's
not,
the Fire Station 3,
it's the Harbor Fire
Right, but
Station.
that-
down by
Not
Cherry
the-
Hill.
Not the little building that was,
Oh,
it's
not the
the
little
other
building.
building.
It's the other
There
building.
was a side wall.
Yeah.
Okay,
This was maybe
Alright.
3 years ago or 4
Okay.
years
all
ago,
right,
Correct,
that was looked at and
okay.
needed to be,
and repainted.
so,
So is there money left in that?
Yes,
23,
there is.
23,000?
I don't have the balance,
I think I emailed these to you guys, probably today.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
But it's these two. I think it's, I'm looking at this upside down, so Memorial Hall, Harbor Fire. And if you go over, it's that one, right?
23,208.
Yeah.
And then there was another one that was Town Hall roof
Mhm.
and rec stairs.
26,743, 34.
26.
So those are two possibilities for,
And that one's for the,
So what does that add up to the two?
spec art, what is that? The common,
it's right around 50.
town common, okay. 26.
26,749.34.
so when I asked Katie about that money for the exterior, she came back with a figure of $70,000.
Did she tell you how she got that figure? Because she could have added up. There are at least two other things that she could have put in there.
Okay,
There's facilities truck, from the article from 23, left over $360.88. Facility storage cabinets, left over $535.62. These are from May of 2023.
That was 5,000?
$535.62.
Okay.
There's other stuff here, but we do have Melissa on, and she's gonna talk to us about this. So anyway, I have a question about the library replace main roof. Why is it 50,000 in 2026 and then another 50,000 in 2030?
because there's 3 sections of roof that are leaking now.
And then library roof repairs in fiscal year 2027, that's different.
That would probably be the main roof.
So we're replacing the main roof in 2026.
I'm just calculating for down the road when things have to be done, because some sections of those shingles, they don't look that great on that main roof.
How old is that roof?
That's 12 years.
12 years. I don't know if
Was
it's
there-
from the ice,
When was it built?
2008,
So it's
Was it?
even older than, I thought it was later than that. That was
2008.
dedicated.
Um,
So I look at this and I see in 2026, replacing the main roof for 50K.
those were
And then
the,
in the following year, repairing the roof. And then 3 years later, replacing the roof again for 50K.
all right, those are different sections. I should have itemized it a little bit better than that. My main concern is just the repairing, the roofs, if not how much they can do for that money. When I was talking to a gentleman at the time to replace the sections of the roof they're leaking.
Were those roofs still under warranty? Were they?
No,
They were not.
no,
And so as far as, them being down the list of things, the library roof at 50K is at number 10. The Memorial Hall roof is at number 9. As far as, I'm assuming this is a priority order, correct?
yeah,
So
we need some work done
those-
on this building.
But those two are not priority for FY26.
Correct.
The priorities are the trim and painting the fire suppression system. The
Yep.
exterior storm windows, which I thought was part of the preservation grant. That hasn't been submitted yet,
That hasn't been
but it's
submitted yet.
being worked on.
Yep, that's,
Okay,
Erin let me know that she's gonna try to have the next person
right,
push that through.
right.
We're gonna have to do the, if anything, we're gonna have to do this in phases.
Do what in phases?
If we don't get the money, we're gonna have to try to do this in phases, this building. So the exterior, until we get it up to par.
Okay. I thought that's the way it's kind of laid out here. Yes, no, I don't know. And then, anyway.
My top priorities, if I can get matching funds and move that other money, is to get the trim and the rear of the building painted, take care of all the rotted trim, and then get which is a must, the fire suppression system.
Yeah, the fire suppression
The
system.
antifreeze and the exterior loops have failed. It's not negative no more. It's a positive temperature, so we can't use glycol, antifreeze, and the suppression system so no more. So it has to be an eco-friendly chemical. And
Okay. The exterior storm windows, the grant that is on the table requires a 50-50 match from the town. So is this 30,000, 50% of it, or is this the whole amount that you anticipate?
This is probably 50% of that for those windows. Because of the side, I had a contractor out here last week looking at that, measuring the exterior windows to preserve the stained glass.
What are they gonna put over them?
We have only these interior panels, sheets of glass that
Okay,
for for the R factor.
right.
So it's not so cold in here because those
Right.
stained glass windows have no
No,
R
I know they
factor to
don't.
them.
I know
And
they don't.
So what are you gonna use to protect them?
they're gonna have to custom make exterior windows that will screw over the wooden
Made out of-
sashes
made out
on
of
the
what?
glass.
Glass, okay.
Glass or Lexan, whatever comes in the cheapest. I mean, I have newspaper articles with the preservation committee going back
I
to
was
the
gonna
early
say,
'90s,
yeah.
saying that they wanted to put chicken wire on the.
Oh, my goodness.
But they were looking at, they thought it was to protect from vandalism, not for energy.
Like chicken wire to do.
All right, so, so this is what we have for facilities for this year. What's up, right up there, that column? And so number one, and they were given equal weight pretty much, were the replace, trim, and painting Memorial Hall,
Mhm.
the fire suppression system. The next one, number two, they're out of order on the paper, was the exterior storm windows, but that is part of the preservation grant.
Okay.
3 was library roof, which is confusing because there's 2 library roofs. So the third priority is really not till fiscal year 27, but
Correct.
the 10th priority is the library roof at 50K.
Mhm.
Okay. The heating system is probably Green Communities.
Yep.
That's your number 4, and number 9 is replacing the Memorial Hall roof. So that's far down the scale,
Correct.
even though it's in this fiscal year. It's not as important as some of the things in next fiscal year.
Yep, we
Or
can bump
even
that out.
prior. So, all right, so really what we wind up doing depends on funding. So going to the committee here real quick, if you look up there, for highway, we have the lease payment that we have to make, the new plow. Then we have, that's highway. Facilities is next with what's there. Fire department is the protective bunker gear, which is turnout gear. The Water department put in the master plan update and cybersecurity assessment for 72K. Those typically come out of the Water Enterprise Fund. And then the lease payment on the cruiser, which is the general fund. So what we need to determine before we decide, and I think that covered everybody. Cemetery and Parks didn't put in any requests, nor did the Conservation Commission. So, and I will email this to you guys after the fact, but just be aware, I work in numbers on a Mac and I have to export it to XLS, so it isn't always one-to-one, which can be a problem. So anyway, so that's what we have. So we have Melissa on the call, and she was going to talk about how funding works. So I guess, Rob, is there anything else for us? Or can we take what you have here and weigh it against everything else after we know how much money we actually have to spend this year?
Okay.
Do you want to talk about the pest control or not?
Yeah, I was gonna
It's
ask.
not a capital
Okay.
request.
Okay, it's,
though.
okay,
So that's a tomorrow thing or a Saturday. thing.
Right, okay, so Saturday,
okay,
okay,
Yeah, I'd really like to just keep it to the capitals.
okay,
That's okay.
absolutely.
okay.
So,
Thank you for your time.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you,
to
Rob.
see you. So if you look at this down at the bottom, the recap by departments, we're looking at 326,000 from highway, 320 from facilities, 102 from police, but of course we know that comes out of his budget. 72K for water, which comes out of Water Enterprise,
Mhm.
and 135 for the fire department.
So,
So it's all total 955,620, but you can subtract out the 102 and the 72, so about 175, which leaves us what, around 775 in asks, if I have that right. Let me do some math. Minus the 102. 520. 8 minus the 72, which we know comes out. 1,800. So $781,100
780,
that we're looking for. And this doesn't have the highway plow split out in payments.
okay,
So anyway. All right, I'm gonna stop this screen share and go to Melissa and see what she might want me to share.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Melissa.
All right. So I'm winging it. Just found out that today that I was coming. I do maintain a spreadsheet of the town's debt and debt schedules. I sent it out to Veronica. I'm not sure who else. So Veronica, if we can open up the Excel spreadsheet.
Okay, give me a minute to.
Yeah.
What was it called?
I
'Cause I've
thank you
been
for doing
getting
that.
so much stuff just
I
today.
don't know.
Oh, I know, huh? I don't know how. I'm not savvy on sharing screens. I'm at home.
I can share screens. I just have to make sure I have the right file. Do you
Yeah,
remember
it's
what?
called
you called
long-term.
it?
Yeah,
What
long-term
was it
debt
called?
service.
Long-term debt service.
And I think it says revised on the end. 2020 something. What is it
Getting
called?
there.
Beginning FY 2020 revised. Okay.
I opened it, so I should have it here. 5-year capital project. Okay, let me get my email and pull it out of there. I know I have
Did you
it.
get? I didn't
If
get
not, I
the-
can resend it right now, but what?
No, just give me a second.
I did, I thought
Sure.
I printed it, but I guess I didn't. I saw it just before I came, so I
Oh,
didn't really.
I didn't see it.
It came late, so I just happened to be.
Does it say funds, see attached, long-term debt service project? Yes.
Yes. Should be the revised one, but if not, the other one will do for now. The second one I sent.
Okay, let me check.
Because I did some projections on the second one.
Can't see all the way down.
I sent you the first because I wasn't sure if I would get to finish.
Okay, I have the revised.
Okay, that's it. Great.
All right, let
So
me,
go, yeah, you want a screenshot maybe around row 55.
all right, let me get to my Zoom.
It's a pretty big spreadsheet, and it goes out to 2038.
I did
Okay,
try to print it, but it
now,
Didn't-
Oh yeah, don't
Yeah.
You'd have to hide some columns, and yeah.
this
it's
is what
too
I've
big.
got. Okay, so what line did you want me at?
Line 55.
Capital projects.
Yeah. So what this spreadsheet does is it the most of the top part is the long-term debt. And line 68 says budget totals, and it goes from what you're looking at as 2000. It gives the capital project, the length of the project is column B, then what we borrowed, the amount we borrowed, and then it breaks it out going all the way to 2038, I believe, which is our
I'm
current.
trying to get it so that we can see it all.
Oh, good luck. Yeah, no. We're basically going to look at 26, 27 through 30. So, but unless people want me to send it, I think I sent the Excel spreadsheet. People can look at it.
You did.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck with getting everything. As long as we can see 2025 through 2030 is really what
I have 26 through 36 up.
Yeah, that's good. Yep,
Okay.
perfect. All right. So that part, the top part, line 50, okay, sorry. Line 55 is going to give the long-term debt and with a breakout above. And if we look at 2026, it's 366,125. Lines. Oh, sorry. Line 55.
I see
Column Q.
Column which?
Q, as in
Q.
question.
We don't have that.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, no, I'm not going anywhere. I'm at home.
All right, so I need to get to column Q. Sorry. There we go. All right.
Hey, and I'm just looking at my spreadsheet. I'm not even looking at your screen. So
Okay.
I don't have two monitors at home to divvy up my thing. So bear with me. All right, so everybody's at that 366,125 number on line 55 under 2026. Let me go back to it.
There we go. The red numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Where does it read? I can't see.
366.
Yeah.
125.
Yay. Good job. Okay, so that's all the long-term debt, and the detail above breaks it out by principal and interest, and
That's this
and the projects.
side. Yeah, where it says the bridge replacement interest, the fire engine interest,
Yes.
fire vehicle and interest, and the highway truck interest. And then over here, it shows us, okay, I don't have enough screen room, but
I know.
yeah, so it shows us that's our debt service then, or for that.
Correct, and it says, what the date of the town meeting was, the article, and the amount that was approved in that article. Sometimes an article is split, like we may not, when I first started, the fire engine came up on May 3rd, 2022, I borrowed it. Nobody told me it was going to take 3 years and we didn't need the money. So I've got the money sitting in Bartholomew Trust Fund earning interest. But sometimes you can borrow of, say, a $500,000 article. I can, if I don't need it right away, I can borrow 200,000. So depending on the amount, is really whether it is a long-term debt, or if we go to the short-term bands on line 58 through 66, those are short-term bands because there's really not enough money for it to kind of turn into long-term debt. And I won't go into too much detail on short-term bands, but the quick version is, depending on what the article was approved at for the length of the loan, which usually relates to the use of the asset. The asset is good for 10 years, etc. That would be the length of the loan, and we go out to bid, and banks bid on lending us the money. And by law, you don't. So the short-term bands are borrowed for a year. So, and then you go out to bid again for the second year. And by the third year, for the first and second year, you only have to pay back interest if that's all you can afford. But by the third time that you do this, the third year, you have to start paying back principal.
Okay.
Which is why you're seeing the first 2 years of capital projects from May 10th, 2024 and October 17th, 2024, that the first 2 years are only interest, no principal. And those were the dates they were borrowed. So go to line 68. I think it's highlighted in ugly yellow with red numbers. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. So if you go to the column Q, 2026, you can see that the combination of long-term and the short-term bands is 395. The next
So that
year,
includes both lines 55, that total, and
correct.
and
And
66, pretty much.
66, yes. That is
Okay.
that's it exactly. Those two numbers equal that 395, 480, 21.
Okay.
Yeah. So the formulas for when the principal is taking what we borrowed and dividing it by the number of years left. So the 142,500 was a 10-year loan or note, and so you have to divide the 142.5 by the remaining 8 years because it's a 10-year. And then on the 472,700, it's divided by 3 years. And that is pretty high. So that's why when you go from 2026, 27, if you go from 2027 to 2028, there's a jump.
I'm going to back up to 55 here so we can
Sure.
look at these articles from 2022.
Yeah.
All right. So, and the jump is from
27 to, go ahead.
28.
Yeah.
And so it looks pretty steady on line 55 under capital projects.
Correct.
But when you go down here to the short-term bands and you add that in, that's where, so the jump is in the bands.
Yeah, the jump is in the bands. And so there are 2 points I want to make. And one of them is that Nelson was worried about that big jump and asked if there was something that can be done to the payments or level, make that not such a big jump. And down below, I did some scenarios. So in one of the documents that I sent, it says that, and I'm going to read it, in the, with our bond counsel and the agreement, it says departmental equipment bonds payable within 5 years from their dates or such longer period of time, not to exceed 20 years from their dates, based on the maximum useful life of the equipment as determined by the Board of Selectmen under GL blah, blah, blah. So there is an opportunity here to even out the payments and not have such a big jump by taking that 472,700 and turning it from a 5-year into a 10-year or a 15 or 20 based on a vote by the Board of Selectmen. And I would recommend that, Jim Smith weigh in from the Highway Department to confirm that of the 472,700, 360 of it is to highway trucks, and confirm that, oh no, yeah, we can stretch it out to 10 years, 15 years, 20 years for the useful life of these two plows. I sent the articles attached, Veronica, dated Article 8, dated May 7th, 2024. And the way we can do that is when the note comes up, the short-term loan comes up on October 17th, and the Board of Selectmen have voted, we can stretch that out, is one point I want to make. And that is made down below lines 72 through 99. And I talk about scenario 10 years, scenario 15 years. And you can see that if you get there to we'll start with the 10-year one, line 79, 77 and 79. I've calculated new totals, and let me know when you get there.
I'm at 77 right now.
Okay, so you can see that in 2028, when the jump from 2728 was 395,000 to 536, we now can go from 395,000 to 443,000. So that will reduce the debt for that year by 93,000. So you get the idea that the longer it stretches out, the lower the principal payments and interest will be. So that kind of gives you an idea of how much money you might be able to afford if you're adding capital projects. So if we were to keep it at the 5 years, you're at 536,000 at 228. And if you start borrowing and 600,000 and you're adding another couple hundred, you're talking about, 750,000, say, in payments and interest, we're just throwing numbers out there. So you have to kind of, once you get a handle on what you think you're going to approve, or I can do scenarios, we can kind of calculate out for a length of time and project what debt payment's going to be. And, when you look at these numbers, you might get scared and say, do we have, we'd have to increase our budget in 28 by 41,000 in 1 year from 27 to 28 in fiscal year 28.
With the way things are right now.
Yeah. So, and then I did it. Yeah. So I did 3 scenarios. And if you look at, column S, 15 years will bring you to a $115,000 reduction from less of a payment than what you would have if you had 5 years, etc. So we can project that out. So then if you kind of have a number like, okay, what if we approve 300,000? I can throw that into an analysis and give you some numbers. So that was the goal of me showing you this spreadsheet and kind of giving you a little advice as to how you should think of, you probably already know this, is, what can we afford? I mean, that's what it boils down to, everything. So I wanted you to know that an analysis can be done based on different scenarios that you guys might come up with on how much money you might need.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So to find out what was purchased, I guess my question is, Highway has asked for a plow. and that plow is 295,000. Now, we can get it in lease payments of 5 years at $60K per year. Do we borrow the entire amount when we do this? Like, how does that work?
Sure. So next part is one of the things that I noticed that maybe you should start asking is whenever they submit a department submits a request for a capital project, that they add in the useful life. So because that kind of determines, like I said earlier, how long we could borrow for. If something's only going to be good for 5 years, I cannot borrow for 10 years. Is that clear to everybody?
Mhm.
Yeah, so you kind of want to get that from them, because then that has to be part of the paperwork that is submitted to the bond council in order to get approval. Now, one of the things we can do, for example, is what I call bundling from American Pickers. Is if, say, something is say $500,000 is approved, or $1 million is approved this coming May, I can take that $1 million. I can take and bundle in things, the short-term bands, and it all depends on timing. So the short-term band for 472.5 comes up due October, whatever, 7th, October. If I can wait till borrow till October for the new capital projects, and then we can go out to bid and get a better interest rate. And even though some projects might be 5 years, some 10 years, that's okay, as we put that in the parameters of the request for bids from banks, and they will come back and have done all that lovely math and come up with a debt schedule. So it really depends on how much money we're borrowing and when we need it by, and what the length of the useful life of the asset that we're borrowing for. Those three factors dictate whether it's a long-term debt, whether we do a state house note, whether it's a bond, which is the long-term note, or in the case of the 142,000, the 472, they were in with articles, and one of the articles was the second fire engine and an ambulance, which are being funded from the ambulatory receipts. So I didn't borrow that, but we needed money for the other items that were in that particular article. Does that make sense?
Yes. So I have the, when they fill out, when department heads fill out their capital request forms, there is a Form B, equipment purchase lease request. This truck that we're replacing, it's a new 6-wheel dump truck with plow and sander. The truck that we're replacing is 23 years old, and the useful life in years is 20 years plus or minus.
Perfect.
Okay, so let me ask another question. If we are borrowing the 295,000, our payments, we are buying it outright, and our payments are to our lender. Is that correct? Not to the company from whom we're purchasing the vehicle. Correct.
So we borrow the money. It comes in. It's wired to us and gets in my bank statement, not my bank statement, our bank statement. And I have the actual cash. If we borrowed whatever, 390,000, I would get 390,000. That's and then the vendor who you purchased the truck from would go through the accounts payable process, an invoice. You would have an invoice, et cetera, and it would go through the accounting department, the accounts payable. I would have the cash flow because I got it from the bank, and then the debt payments are to the bank that we borrowed from, and those are budgeted under the debt section of the general fund.
Okay.
So it's a cash flow budget sort of connection.
I want to change our screen share here for just 1 minute. So I'm gonna stop the share and I'm gonna reshare unless I mess up. So you just have to bear with me.
Oh, you're doing great.
Um, okay, so now I want to share again, and I want to share our capital plan. Because one of the things that we have in here is this cat loader, and we're making payments on it, 31,100 a year. And if you look at this, the fourth payment is this year, the fifth payment is next year. So we have to fund this through the capital plan. So this must not have been purchased with borrowing from the town.
No, it looks like it.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, I did interrupt. So it looks like it says 5th year lease payment. So the lease payment would have been budgeted as a line item in that department's general fund departmental line item as a lease. And no, we would not have borrowed for it. We don't usually borrow for lease payments. Lease payments is kind of like borrowing from the vendor versus borrowing from a bank and it being debt. It's a line item. It's a general fund, a departmental line item. So you're correct. So it's not listed as under the debt section of the general fund, the omnibus, if you want to call it, and it's not borrowed from a bank. So a lease would be you would pay the vendor directly, kind of like our own personal, buying of a car or leasing a car. Versus going out and borrowing money to buy a car, you lease a car. It's pretty much the same thing.
So the lease payment on the cruisers. So here's police down at the bottom. The lease payments that comes out of the police budget.
Correct.
But this payment is not coming out of the highway budget. It's coming out of capital.
So,
because it came in as a capital request.
Okay, so this hasn't happened yet, and they are requesting that they will do a lease, but they'd like to come out of capital funding. So
it's
the question,
already happened. It happened.
Oh, it already happened. I don't know where it's coming from.
2021, and the highway superintendent said something about it wasn't budgeted for this fiscal year 2025. And so at special town meeting, there was a special article to get the funds because it hadn't. So this is more for futures for all of us, I guess. If it is leased through the dealer, so to speak, the truck dealer, then it should be put in the general fund for that department. Is that what I'm?
Yes, I highly doubt I can't borrow from a bank. Yeah, you are correct.
Okay, so but in
I will triple check that I could do it as a short-term ban, but that's kind of a.
No, I don't think so.
No.
It makes sense what you had said before. All right, but I think because it isn't in the general budget for highway. We do need to cover it this year. Okay.
So if you were to add it to a new article and make it a debt thing, and I could bundle it with other stuff.
I don't know if we have to do that.
Yeah, and there is a little money. There's not a lot, and I'm probably, there is money in capital stabilization.
About 80,000.
Yes. At any point in time, if that money is needed to pay for something, I just simply contact Bartholomew, which is the name of the company that does our trust funds and our investments, and say, send me 31,000 because it's our money. So if you wanted to deplete, and I don't like using the word deplete, but reduce what is currently in capital stabilization, that 86,000, at any point in time, you could grab that money. It's your discretion at, Board of Selectmen discretion.
I'm going to screen share again. Let me bring this file up. So thank you so much, Melissa.
Oh,
I don't know,
yes.
but this is helping me understand how all of this works. All right, so now this is, I think it was Katie that sent this to me, our accountant.
Yes.
And so the stabilization fund for the town, this is where we took out the funds for balancing the budget last year and about 4 years ago for retroactive pays, is 1,300,000 roughly. In capital stabilization, no, now we have 1,186,000. This was
Right. Yep.
on. We now have 87,412. So we have that to spend, I assume.
You assume correctly.
Okay, so between the option to borrow that you just described and these funds and any free cash that we have, we could fund that way. And any warrant articles that are kind of stale. They have money in them from previous years that have not been completely spent.
Yeah. So I call that, unexpended balances. So you have capital projects where we borrowed money, say 750,000, and it ended up only costing 700,000. So in your general ledger, it should show that you have an unexpended balance is how I refer to it, or a balance, ending balance of that 50,000. And now, so that's the next question that I believe that everybody's been discussing with Katie is what are your options what can you do with that 50,000 because it was a town meeting article for that amount. But as this happens a lot, it's either unexpended or overexpended. Could go either way. And to reallocate or reuse those unexpended balances, you have a couple of options. One, you could take that 50,000 and throw it towards principal, which would reduce your interest in your principal and reduce your payments for that particular specific project. So if one project was underspent by 50,000, you could put it back towards principal, and that reduces your payments and interest, etc. Second option is you can go back to town meeting and say there's say there's more than one unexpended balance projects that have unexpended balances. You could bundle them. You could say, okay, there's 3 projects, 150,000. We're going to spend 60 on this, 50 on that, and reallocate it to a new capital project. That's
okay.
Okay, wait, let me just quickly finish. The third one is it can go back to the general fund. And I think that now I'm only saying this because I have 25 years on the school side and capital projects. As far as town goes, when talking with Katie, I do believe it needs to be voted to go back to the general fund of free cash. I'm sorry, it might not. And also, if you do reallocate it to one or many new capital projects, there is a parameter, and you'll have to confirm all this and get this in writing from Katie, that the new capital projects, the life of the old projects, the life of the new can't exceed the life of the old. So if it was a 10-year loan, you can't go out and get a 20-year loan. I'm throwing that out there, but I don't have that law in front of me. It's not okay. Sorry.
So
Now,
looking at these, we have some expenditures here that are highway that are not fully expended from articles from 2023 and 2024, which I am assuming are capital projects. Katie told me cash here means it was money that came from free cash.
Okay.
I asked her what it means, cash, and anyway, so it came from free cash. So it looks like not the police records, because I think that's still in the works, but the highway, truck equipment 1, equipment 2, the pickup, the culvert camera, and the wing plow. It looks like there are monies here. So we could bundle those together, and we'll have to add up to see how much that is, and apply it to, say, the payment for the plow,
The 31,000.
1,000.
Yeah, I would, if I may interrupt, really verify that came from free cash. I could have sworn the highway truck was a capital.
Well, it was a capital article, but the
Oh, it was
funds-
capital. Okay, and it was a capital article because when I look at all the articles, there's the column that says funding source. So if it says borrow, so if that's the truth, then yes, you are making correct
I'll have
statement.
to find out. We can find out on that.
Yeah.
And then there's facilities has 2.
Mhm.
And then there's all this. But
Yeah,
what I'm not
yeah.
sure is what CP means. And,
I don't know.
CP, American Legion cash. There's 22,900.
Capital project? Does that mean capital project?
That's what I would think.
So you have to realize
Why is there no article there then?
So so I can probably speak to this, is that over the years you've had different accountants, et cetera, and when they set up, every time an article is approved, and they set up the account numbers in the GL, General Ledger, to account for this, different people use different codes. And, so I believe that Katie told me that she started doing the ones that all say ATM, article, and date, and that one. So that whole section, I think, is hers. And anything after the other ones, I think, are other people's. Because it looks like 23 and 24, those, she was here for that. So the ATM art, and then anything prior to that, you'll have to go back further past Katie's regime. Or and get the backup for that. And it would be nice to rename it and be consistent, but man, that never happens ever anywhere.
Okay. All right, you guys. What else do we need to talk about with Melissa? We're consulting here, Melissa.
Yeah.
What other questions we have for you?
Yep.
You guys.
I don't understand that American Legion.
I
I really don't. I don't either.
How come nothing was spent on that one, huh? Oh, those weren't even spent.
Or
Oh, maybe their balances, rollover balances. Maybe the original. So also, if I may, while you're consulting, so if something was originally 50,000, maybe the accountant only carried over the balance from the previous year. You'd have to find out how much the original allocation was as well, because it looks like the allocated amount isn't the actual article's full amount that was approved. It looks like at the end of a fiscal year, whatever the balance is, that is carried forward as the ending balance is carried forward as the beginning balance. Does that make sense?
Yes. Okay. And I'm looking at these numbers, and this under cash tanker, I'm guessing that was done in 2018 under what?
Oh yeah, who knows? Maybe
2016.
Yeah.
And American Legion was done at the beginning of time.
Yeah. Yep. We don't want to know when it was done, right? Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. I'm not. Okay, so we can investigate that.
Okay.
And there were other articles that I was going to bring up. So let me stop the share here and bring up a different one that Katie had also sent me. Special articles. All right, I'm going to share again. Second. Okay. So this is another set of articles that have things left in them, like special town meeting 2024 CDL 550. But the ones that might be special town meeting 2018 associated costs with chart, might be the charter, 3,827.50. But there are all these. The highlighted ones, I think, are the ones to look at. Website work, can that be released? Town hall roof and stairs, 26,000 plus. Town council special article prior year, $10,000 that we're carrying there.
Wow. Yeah.
Memorial Hall and Harbor Fire repair, 23,208. We just talked to Rob about these, and there are others, but a public works project for the 119 sidewalk. This was supposed to be the sidewalk from the high school towards the center, and we have 29,000 there.
High school to the harbor.
The high school to the harbor, is that what it was? Yeah. So there are some things here that we could look at, I believe. And I think we need to talk to the department head that belongs to these and see what we can put on the warrant.
So yeah, I would recommend that to make sure that they are 100% done. Obviously, and I'm gonna throw it out there, toot my own horn. When Nelson asked me about funding the first fire truck that is now, I don't know, $80,000 higher, I said you needed to go look at all of your prior year capital projects and check for your unexpended balances. And I told Katie the same thing. And you can tell that this needs to be done. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And look at all these little pockets that you're getting. This is a great thing that you guys are doing this, and get it done and just clean up these accounts as well as quote unquote found money. Right. That was my comment. Sorry.
So I have a question. Could we do the research that we need to do to figure out which of these are, expended and just remaining funds? Could we then release all of these in an article and move the funds to capital stabilization? And then, with the exception of the plow that's so high, 295, then just fund the other things, like the facilities things that need to be done, and the highway lease that needs to be paid, and the turnout gear that needs to be purchased. Could we then fund those at town meeting out of capital stabilization?
I believe the answer is yes to all of those lovely questions. I would just direct that to the town accountant and Elizabeth and to Katie to make sure, and probably town council in terms of how the articles should be worded. But absolutely, these are unexpended funds on town meeting approved articles, whether they're whatever the funding source. But yes, all of that can be done and should be done. Just you got to make sure you cross your T's and dot your I's in the wording of the articles. And I'm pretty sure the money can go to free cash. Then the article becomes take that free cash money and put it into capital stabilization, I believe is the audit trail. But I'm not but I don't want to 1,000,000% say on that one. That's an accounting sound.
Instead of saying these two go to facilities and these two go to highway, and it kind of makes sense to put it all in capital stabilization and then draw what we can that doesn't need to be borrowed for out of capital stabilization.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, all right, so we have some work to do to look at word articles. So Do you guys have any other questions for Melissa or anything else that I should put up in screen share?
I don't think so.
So I think should be pretty clear.
And before I leave here today, I'll send you all the,
They're
these
good for reading,
files.
they're good reading
All
material.
the good reading
Oh my
materials
God,
that you
I
can.
said, between this and the planning board, I don't like for reading material.
Yeah,
Right, right.
no good books.
So, okay.
Thank you.
All right, so, no more questions for Melissa? Anybody?
So,
Thank you all. You've been a great audience. Thank you for inviting me, and keep up the good work, guys. Doing
All
good.
right, thank you, Melissa.
You're
Thanks for
welcome. And you know where to find me.
joining. All right,
okay, thank you.
thank you. All right, I'm gonna stop the screen share. All right, so, maybe what we should do is, I wonder if I can copy things on that machine, so I can give you hard copies of these, and we could look through and figure out how much money we might be able to grab. So we have some idea of what we have to spend.
Okay.
And then look at the requests that were made, prioritize them, vote on them,
Okay,
and suggest funding sources. But I don't know that we're ready to declare this is how we fund it.
Yeah.
yeah,
But I do think that after what Melissa said, it makes sense just to borrow for the plan,
I think so.
Oh, yeah,
as opposed to
definitely.
doing a lease.
Right. And it's a length of time too that the plow is good for. I mean,
Right.
You know.
It's a really long time.
absolutely.
So, all right, so can we take like a 5-minute break?
sure.
Yeah.
All right, so
Go for it.
what time is it? It's 5:41. We'll take a 5-minute break. I'll make copies of these things for you
Oh,
guys.
thank you.
And I'll have to project the, plan. Do we want this one? This is one you were talking about, Sharon. That's the ranking.
Oh, the
thing.
ranking.
Yeah, that's
I
in
don't
the,
know if we really,
Are we ready?
I don't think we really have enough stuff.
that's in the guide,
Yes,
guidebook.
I pulled it out of there
Yeah,
and
yeah.
printed it from there.
Yeah.
Okay, so 5-minute break. I'll get these done,
Okay,
5:45. I'll make copies of this.
Thank you.
You'll have to go with, I mean, I wrote on these.
Oh, that's all right.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's
You'll have
okay.
my notes.
Yep, that's fine.
Geez, you got pictures of them.
Oh, goodness. Oh.
Yeah, I don't think we're ready to make a decision.
Until we get all finished the
I don't know
info.
how we're gonna,
Well, it depends. Can you make decision? You gotta know how many dollars you have before you can decide what you can spend.
well, we know we can borrow from the truck, which is,
Yeah, that's fine. I guess. I don't
some odd years old now, so.
know. Need the truck. I want my stained glass windows to be kept preserved. Because I
Well,
like,
you know, that fire suppression system, I think that's a state thing. I think we have to have that.
oh, I think so.
I don't think that's a choice.
I don't think that's a choice either. Thank you. Oh, nice and warm.
Are they good?
Nice and warm, hot off the press.
I didn't notice if they were recording or not. Oh, it is. Okay.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Did I give that?
I don't,
I
oh,
made an
yeah, you did.
extra.
Yeah, you got it. Natalie has one over there. Yep,
Okay.
yep. You got time. We'll time you.
That's why.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
Ready for my nap.
I'm ready for a beer. I really am. Okay.
Did you say you're gonna get the little red potatoes for the?
Yeah, a little, yeah, I like
Yeah.
those the best. I like those because you can, it looks like you have a lot. You get
Yeah.
the big ones and you get a lot. I mean, I always cut them in quarters anyways.
Right.
I mean, you have a little bit of quarters, you have a little bit of, you know, the right ones. And I see a lot of work. But it's fun. I go in there, I was in there today at 7:15 this morning. And then I leave there till 1:45 to go drive, and then I came right here. I have to go back to clean the dishes.
Is Duke still working?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he works Republic Services, so he starts work, oh, it reminds me, I gotta tell him, since we're gonna be here a little bit longer. He calls me around 6:30 every night, and, he works from 2 o'clock in the afternoon till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
Yeah, so I'm gonna let him know, call me at 9.
Make
Just
your own supper.
because, just because. Oh,
you have a good crowd today?
no, it was light, actually, which was fine with me. It was just me, Paul, and Tony. And we need a cook for next Wednesday. We're not gonna use the same one we had last week. Because if I don't have a cook, I can't open. There's no way. So, and Reggie's still recuperating from I shouldn't say that. She's still mourning the loss of her sister, Reggie Lambert.
Her sister passed away?
Her sister passed away of cancer a couple weeks ago.
I
Yes,
thought her,
sister in Taunton. She's
yeah, did her son have an
Her s-
accident?
yeah.
Oh, he did.
I don't know. I don't know anything else.
Well, that's too bad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right, so back from our quick break.
Do we have to have this rating done before the first?
Yes, we have to, tomorrow, I have to report to the
Okay.
select board.
All right.
So what I think we should do,
Okay.
is, look at the articles that you guys just got copies of. Let's do a little bit of adding. Does anybody have a calculator?
Your phone.
Yeah, the phones.
Yeah.
And just looking at this, I don't know what that building energy retrofit is, so we'll leave that, but let's look at, the facilities truck, unrestricted cash, so whoever has 360.88.
Right.
Plus facilities storage cabinets, 535.62. And then highway truck, $3,124.52.
3,100?
24.52.
I'm using my phone to calculate. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Keep
Okay.
going.
and then the highway truck,
Uh-huh.
equipment two, $1,168.74.
Okay.
And then continuing with highway, and of course, we'll have to check with all the departments. This one is $5,087.
Okay,
A culvert camera with $5 left in it.
so $5?
$5.
Okay, go
A
ahead.
wing plow with $3,700 in it, and we know we can't buy
Okay.
a wing plow for that. Okay, and now I'm gonna go to the other sheet, and then we'll come back to the C dash P.
So keep adding, right?
Keep adding,
Okay, go ahead.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Article 14, associated costs with charter, $3,827.50. The BOS website work for $350. The town hall roof and rec stairs for $26,749.34. I'm gonna leave the 10,000 one for now. The Memorial Hall Harbor Fire for $23,208. And what do we get there?
$68,116.60. 68116.60.
68116.
8116.60.
Okay.
So this is article release,
68.
if we can do this.
Yeah.
All right, and then on the page with the three white, red, yellows at the bottom, let's add those three yellows, 'cause we don't know what those are.
Okay.
So the American Legion
You know-
for,
You know, I was wondering if that was,
is that the building that
They
came
sold
they
it.
down?
came down with a fire station,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Yeah. okay.
And this has something to do with fire,
Mhm.
and we're buying turnout gears if we vote to, so.
Oh.
American Legion,
Okay.
so this is my
Okay.
second category, $22,900,
Yeah.
plus the West Townsend Fire Station, $3,087.20.
Yep.
And then, yeah, $342 for the third one. What does that? mean?
$26,021.20.
Okay,
What was it again?
$26,021.20. 260, excuse me, 26021.20. That's what I
Okay.
got.
and then on the sheet with the American Legion,
Uh-huh.
capital stabilization has $87,412.21. So if we add those three figures together,
Okay. $181,550.01. That's what I came up with.
181,550.
Yeah, 181,550.
181,000 what?
550
Okay.
In 1 cent.
and 1 cent.
And 1 cent.
Yeah, that's what I came up with.
Okay, so I'm gonna screen share. I'm gonna go back to screen sharing and bring up the capital plan list for 2026. And then put that in there. That in there. Don't need that one. I think it's this one. So I'm gonna screen share. All right, so looking at, do I have it too big or not big enough?
Oh, that's fine.
I would kind of like to, let me bring it in just a little bit so that we can see highway.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
No, highways on the top.
Let me, make it bigger. And then slide it, if I can. Slide it this way.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
is that good enough?
Uh-huh.
So highway is the first thing. So of this, we have $31,100. That's a lease payment. And we have to make that. We can talk about the dump truck sander, but that's $295. And if we decide to do that, that would be borrowing. What do you think about facilities, you guys? What do we?
Well, I don't think we have any choice about the fire suppression.
No,
I agree with that.
So, and then,
And the trim,
the trim, yeah, that
Yes.
goes together.
Yeah.
those were the top two.
True, yeah.
Well, now,
So-
was that one or was that two?
He had it on his sheet.
But did he have it as trim and paint and then
Yes.
fire
Yeah,
suppression
first,
stuff?
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, So that's two.
but he put them as
Yeah.
one.
Oh, all right.
You know,
okay.
so
Oh,
I
did he
don't
put
think-
the, well,
Yeah.
on my
If you
sheet,
look at
Okay.
it, yeah, he had them,
but see, I had it
Yeah.
as his first
Okay.
or second priority plus
I
he
see.
had,
Oh, all right.
so,
yeah, he
those
kind of
two-
had them together, lumped.
Well, I
Yeah.
don't think you have a choice.
I don't
for
know,
the fire
trim and
suppression.
painting.
so the,
Okay,
paint and trim,
and so that's another 65,000, right? So between the lease payment and the facilities, just that, that's 96,100.
so that's the fire suppression.
And then I'm going down to protective bunker gear, which
Well,
is,
we don't have much choice on that.
No, we don't.
But do we know if he may pay for half of it and out of his
Budget.
budget?
I
Did
don't
we
think
ever-
there's
did
an
we ask him?
answer to that. No,
Did you,
there's,
did you ask?
I asked him how many sets of bunker gear that was, how much he was replacing. And he told me he was paying, that he was replacing all 50 sets and
Oh.
that it was 525,000, which is the air pack replacements. So I asked for clarification on that, and I don't have that, but I know he's coming tomorrow
Right,
to the joint meeting.
correct.
Okay, because
So-
wasn't the bunker gear 135,000?
130 something.
That's what's
135.
on here, but when I asked him the cost of the bunker gear, he gave me the price for the air packs. So I'm wondering if the numbers got switched or the wording
Oh,
got
okay.
switched on
Oh.
something.
Or so like they asked him.
Because it just needs clarification,
Okay,
but I'm going with 135,000 because that's what we have in writing.
Right.
yeah.
Well,
That's
didn't it say 10? Didn't it say 10?
For the bunker
Yeah,
gear?
we didn't dream that up. I'm sure it was 10 and we thought maybe he could do 5.
Oh, no,
What-
no, we talked about, we didn't really know
What
what
it
that
was,
cost.
right.
And then we asked for, well, could we do like buy a third, or do like
Half.
half and half? And,
We didn't get an answer.
I don't know if we ever got.
No, I don't think we did.
No,
No.
at least unless Mark did.
Did,
No, I don't think
I
so.
don't think so, and we didn't know how many people that was for or whatever, so.
Okay, so between, okay, and then going back down the list, we have the master plan update, the water department, and the cybersecurity assessment. Do you have his plan? Carol, you do such a good job of printing it all out and looking at it. For water, the master plan update, this is water.
The water, I did, let me see if I can find it. I had something with the water, the master, where did I see the water?
There, it got sent to us just a day or two.
I know, and it's, I think I
There's
had
a
it.
couple lines, right?
So I am assuming
Is this
this is
it?
from the
No.
enterprise fund, from water enterprise.
I had
Because
his
I've
sheets.
never seen
No, I-
water to do anything other than from their enterprise. But that doesn't mean,
Oh, maybe this is it. No,
That's
not
Gary's.
it.
Because that's where oh, I see what you're doing, okay.
yeah, I'm trying to get the.
I know I had his
maybe if I
water,
make it a little bit
or is it still on my dining room table and I forgot to bring it because
No,
I
it could
know.
be, because that's what I did with the,
I know I had a printout from him. And you know what, it might be on it might be on the dining room table. Oh, wait a minute, is this it? Is this water? No, that's not
that
it.
doesn't look right.
No,
All
Yep.
right, so we have the two waters to vote on and the police chief, of course, but so these are all from the general fund. So what we have to fund is $231,000. And we have 181, so we're about 50K short.
so what was it, 234? What was the number again?
231,100, did you get that too now?
Yeah.
Okay, 231,100?
100, yeah.
Okay,
And that's, so should we vote on these? On what we're gonna go forward with?
I think, do we have, yeah, I'm sure we have to, right?
And then it'll be up to the Board of Selectmen to figure out, because there were a few other things here. You know, dispatch service cost, 801. Access control system, 1,073. I mean, there are a few, we can probably hunt up a few more dollars somewhere. The asphalt hot box, that was the highway, 9906. You know, maybe we can hunt up another 50K somewhere. We could figure out what that special article for town council for 10K is and free that up, because I don't know what that
I don't
is.
know what it is. I don't remember what it is.
Um,
What year was that?
it doesn't have a year. It just says town council special article prior year, $10,000. And if you look at the codes, it's one of the beginning of times, 0000. It doesn't have a year in that set of four.
Four. Oh, okay.
You know, there's no year there. It's just 000. So
Wasn't he
Yeah.
looking for, $10,000 this year, though, wasn't he,
who was?
Adam?
Oh, we put that in the general budget, in
Okay,
the
all right.
omnibus, that the increase.
Okay, yeah,
I thought, I didn't think it was 10,000. I thought it was less than that, but this is from before. This was
Way
set
before,
aside.
A long time ago.
well, probably wasn't even him that was here.
Right, it probably
Right.
wasn't. And so we don't know what that's for. And it's one of the ones, the things that are highlighted are things that Katie highlighted for me
Okay.
and said, you know, take a look at these.
Mhm.
So, maybe we can get the 29,000 for the sidewalk from 119. You know, I'm gonna circle these. Um,
Yeah,
or we
I'd
could
like
do
to see
free
that.
cash,
What?
or we could get from free cash. Because we would only be asking for 50K from free cash. If you subtract 231, 100 minus 181, 550, I'm forgetting the penny. Or we need $49,550. And I'll bet we could get that from free cash.
Maybe.
And it would wipe out capital stabilization. But maybe we can take this and put 100K in capital stabilization or 50K for next year, you know, or something. But I might be able to find out what some of these other articles are for. The 29, the sidewalk. Are we ever gonna do the sidewalk? And
Well,
then-
you know, I wish they would. I know that we have the walking trail, but you know, those kids aren't gonna go back there and walk on the trail.
Right,
Yeah.
but there's Complete Streets, the
Right.
Complete Streets grant.
Yeah.
We could get funds from that.
Yeah, I don't think that probably, the street plan wasn't probably in when
When
that
this
money
was set aside.
Right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
maybe we can.
Maybe, yeah, so just have to find out.
Would you take that sidewalk money, say today, and if there's a grant comes up for sidewalks in the future, apply for a sidewalk grant in the future
Right, that's what I'm thinking.
and take, because you're not gonna use that money.
29,000 isn't gonna go anywhere.
It won't get you very far at all.
7 feet.
Maybe,
Maybe.
maybe.
So,
Um,
yeah, you're right about, when they have to do the engineering for the sidewalk.
Oh, yeah.
That wouldn't even
Yeah.
pay for the engineer.
No.
Right,
So,
this was from 2005.
Mhm.
That's when that money was set aside. It's in the, in the code there, you know, the year
oh,
code.
Oh, wow.
That
okay.
was from
Has it
2005.
gained any interest or anything?
Well, yeah, that's the sad
Probably.
thing, because the last couple of years, interest rates have been pretty, at the bank, interest rates have been pretty good.
So maybe we can do that. I don't know.
Oh, we'll check it out.
We'll check it out. So
That would be half your 50.
yeah, it would be, wouldn't it?
So we'd only have 23?
Yeah.
That'd be wonderful.
From free cash, yeah. So let's vote on these. And then there's a page here that's funding source, I think. I could maybe there is, I don't know, maybe not on this one. Anyway, so let's just look at, starting with the highway, the cat loader lease payment. Is there a motion?
Oh, the 31,000.
For the 31,100.
I'll make a motion to pay the 31,100 for the fourth year lease payment.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? And, let's include recommended to come from, well, maybe we shouldn't make that recommendation until after we find
Why
out.
don't we,
Yeah, I
Okay.
think we're just, this is where we,
Just,
We'll
maybe
just-
we could just vote the
Yeah.
items there.
yeah. So all those in favor, of the motion for the lease payments?
Aye.
Aye. We don't have anybody remotely, so we don't have to take a roll call vote.
Okay,
All right, the second highway, request was for the new six-wheel dump truck with plow and sander for $295,000. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion for the 295,000 for the sander, is it a sander plow?
Yeah.
Sander plow truck,
Yeah.
for the highway department.
and I'll second it.
Any further discussion on that? I'm thinking borrowing.
Borrowing.
I think that's,
I think it should be.
yeah, but we'll let the finance people figure out.
Okay,
Okay.
But that makes sense to me after what Melissa explained. So, anything else?
no, unless a lease, you know, I don't know if it works the same way, but you know, sometimes like you lease a car or something and they
Right.
give you like really cheap financing versus going to the bank and
And
borrowing money.
Yeah.
I don't know if it works. I don't know if it's, you pay less interest paying a lease or where you pay, you know,
Yeah,
but maybe that's the,
okay. No
Finance.
recommendation, but we
Okay.
think we should get it.
yeah, Okay.
Or at least we're voting on that.
Okay.
Okay, all those in favor?
aye.
Any opposed? Moving down to facilities.
I'll make a recommendation for the paint and trim and the fire suppression system. I cannot see the numbers.
Oh, okay, so we voting that as one thing?
One, okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
so it's,
And I'll,
for 65K.
and I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So that's facilities. So I am on this, hang on 1 minute, let me see if I can I edit this and put yes?
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
And then. Do they usually leave it out if you don't, or do they put a no, 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 no? I'm just gonna put yeses.
Uh-huh.
Just put yes. Yeah,
Okay.
it looks a little more positive.
Okay, and then there's the bunker gear.
Fire department, the protective bunker gear replacement at 135,000.
I'll make a motion to approve the request for the bunker gear of 135,000.
I'll second, that's 135,000.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Mhm.
And I think the water department, is there a motion to fund there too? Let me put a Y here. Okay, the master plan update and the cybersecurity assessment.
That's their money anyway, right?
I believe it's the water enterprise fund.
Okay.
yes.
Underwater Enterprise Fund. Is it 105.50?
No, it's 60,000.
Oh, 70.
72,000.
72,000.
Yeah.
I guess I was reading further down. 72,000.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Yes, it's here. All right, and the police department lease payment on cruisers, which comes out of
Their
the
budget.
general budget for the police department. So is there a motion?
Oh, okay, which one is that one?
It's the 105 lease payment on 4 cruisers. My cursor never does what I want it to do when I'm screen sharing.
Oh, that was the
Right
one.
there.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, the
that's what you were
102.
looking
I was
at.
looking
Yeah.
at, yeah.
Oh, okay,
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion for the 105.
102,000.
I thought you-
520.
102, 520.
And I just got new glasses.
All right, is there a second
I'll second it.
for the police cruisers? Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Hi.
Any opposed? None, it's unanimous. All right. We have our capital.
Yay.
Okay, so I'm going to, so that I can see the bottom line, how do I do this?
I can't help you there.
The 955 isn't correct. So I'm gonna just move these things over a year. How does that sound? A fiscal year?
Yeah, but
And I'll move it over to this one, that's right. Okay, I'm gonna take this out because I want my numbers at the bottom.
oh, make that 85,000. That's
Ah,
75,
good,
make it 85.
Good catch, yeah. 85, okay, I'm gonna move it over. These things could wind up in a grant, which would not make them really capital. This, if it's for,
So there's a possibility if we go through everything, that we may only end up with the 26,000.
Yeah.
That'd be wonderful.
and the main roof repair. So I'm confused about the roof. I think I would rather have it in more detail. You know, it's this section, it's that section. But, okay.
If it's only 12 years old, I'm surprised it's not under warranty. Usually
Yeah.
they're 20 or 30-year
Yeah.
architectural shingle and that type of thing.
Oh, yeah, I never heard of a roof not being good for 12
12
years.
years, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, they're always
20 or
25.
30.
Yeah.
20 to 25, 30.
Yeah,
Okay, so when you add in the cruisers, the master plans, the water, and the 295, so let me just make sure that this number is correct. 700,620. So we had 231, 100 plus 295 for the cat loader or whatever. No, not the cat, the plow.
the plow.
520 and then 72K for water, correct? 895 and 102, 520. I get 600,620. Why am I 100K over?
What did you have?
Try it again.
Maybe I added.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that, how you can add the columns if you're in Excel, but
There's a.
I forget how to do that though.
There's a
There's a formula, there's a thing
formula
where
and
you can,
I'm really bad at making it come up.
yeah,
Um,
you know, once upon a time I could do this like
There
that.
was, I had it. Okay, so D6 through D43, so where's D6? Okay, do D6 through D43, 700, 620. So I must just be, oh, I must have added wrong, I did. 700, 620 is correct, so that's our capital plan. Okay, I didn't carry the one.
Oops. Oops.
I used to be a math teacher.
No, that's funny.
Yeah, once upon a time I could do
Once
the,
upon a time.
just like once upon a time I could do these spreadsheets in my sleep and not have to think about it, but you know, after a while you don't do
We
it.
don't do it.
You
Yeah.
don't do it all the time and it's like, oh, it's like, how do I can't remember how I did it.
What were the things? Maybe I should put an N in here. Or
Under what?
the ones that I moved over.
Yeah, I would.
What are the ones I moved over? Do you guys remember?
Right.
What was on his sheet for 20?
The storm windows,
The storm windows, the heating system.
the heating system,
Okay,
oh,
And, replace the roof and repoint the 100,000 and then 50 below it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It was the roof and the foundation, right?
yes.
yeah, it was like, yeah, it had like the foundation
Can't have
chimney.
everything.
Just so that we know, we moved them over there to
Right.
not add them in.
No.
So, I mean, they used to be here and here.
Yeah.
And down here, so we moved them out of here. All right. Is there anything else that you guys can think of?
So,
I hope. Okay. And on our agenda, what is left? So I will make
about
this, this sheet, I'll send it to you guys.
Okay.
I'll put it in the Board of Selectmen thing. I'll do that tonight. I will also send you the files that Melissa sent me.
Okay.
That Excel with all the debt service
Okay,
in it.
great.
Okay, I think the only thing on here is we didn't use the rating sheet.
Yeah.
Did we use the rating?
No, I just, on your agenda, it just says evaluate all submitted capital requests using the rating
Well, we
sheet.
kind of did it sort of.
Yeah, sort of. I guess we kind of did it sort of.
We
Yeah.
didn't have a lot of things.
Oh.
Well, I think
Yeah.
many people were pretty good and only asked
Yeah.
for what they really, wasn't like
Yeah.
a wish list this year.
Right,
So,
right.
so we're good.
So we're good?
Oh,
Okay.
do we want to adjourn?
Yeah.
Would like to make a motion?
Oh.
I second, I make
I'll
it sound
make-
for
I'll make it a motion to adjourn at
What,
6:14.
an emotion or? a
Yeah,
motion?
both.
Both.
And you are the second now,
I
lady.
I agree.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.